A very good evening, everyone. Am I audible to all delegates now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Audible.
Yes, sir.
Very good evening, sir. So again, a warm welcome and very good evening to all esteemed organizers, our respected resource person, Dr. Ratan Kumar Srivastava, sir, all delegates and all faculties presented in today's session of 3-month certificate program on research methodology and biostatistics. It is an honor and privilege to introduce our esteemed resource person for today's online session, our respected Dr. Ratan Kumar Srivastava, sir, a distinguished figure in the field of community medicine, brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to our virtual platforms. With a remarkable career spanning over 42 years, Sir has left an indelible mark on the landscape of medical education and research. Formerly, the professor and head of the Department of Community Medicine at Institute of Medical Sciences, Banaras Hindu University, Sir currently serves as the Professor of Community Medicine and Dean Academics at Prasad Institute of Medical Sciences, Lucknow. Sir's expertise encompasses a wide array of areas within community medicine, including epidemiology and health services research, health program evaluation, malariology, research methodology, family welfare and IC, epidemic control, and the control of disease after floods, among others. His international recognition is evidenced by an invitation as a guest speaker at Smith College, Northampton, Massachusetts, USA, where he delivered a talk on social change and public health in India. Moreover, his extensive contribution to public health include participation in national level evaluation of universal immunization program and numerous evaluation of UIP in different districts of Gujarat. Dr. Ratan sir has been a guiding force for numerous scholars, having supervised 12 candidates in their MD, community medicine, and currently guiding 8 PhD candidates in community medicine. His commitment to the research is further exemplified by his involvement in field-based projects such as implementing the family planning program through the milk cooperative system. His dedication to public health is also evident in his management of leptospirosis control program for 11 years in Surat, which contributed to the development of National Control Program of leptospirosis in 2008. Dr. Srivastasa's involvement is in multi-centric studies like the heart study funded by the government of Japan underscores his commitment to advancing medical research. With an impressive publication record of 52 papers in international and national journals, Sir is not only a distinguished academic but also an active member of various professional bodies, including the Indian Society of Hypertension, Indian Association of Preventive and Social Medicine, and the Indian Leptospirosis Society, among others. Recognized for his outstanding contribution, Dr. Ratan Kumar Srivastava received the V. Santaram Gold Medal for the Best Published Paper Award by the Indian Society of Hypertension in 2011. His pioneering work in initiating independent consultancy services for the evaluation of health programs at the Institute of Medical Sciences further highlights his innovative approach to the field. In conclusion, we are honored to have Dr. Ratan Kumar Srivastava as our resource person today, and we look forward to gaining valuable insight from his wealth of experience and expertise as we start today. The first session is on fundamental of study design. Then we take 15 minutes of break. Then again moving to today's scheduled session, observation study design and its measure. So again, warm welcome, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Amit. Thank you. And I welcome all participants. And I'm already, I think I'm moving. At present today, I'm in Hyderabad. And 10 days back, I was in Pune. So I will be going back to Lucknow. Then I will join my office on 14th. So anyway, I'm at my daughter's home. So from there, I'm taking this lecture. So I'm going to share my slide. Yeah, whether it is visible?
Yes, yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay. So, dear students, my today's topic, you can say a smaller topic, like fundamentals of study design. And then one observational I will take in detail. So, study design means I think you all are either doing PG, post-graduation or PhD, or the faculty members may be there to guide the PG students and others. So these things are very important. I will share my all practical experiences and other things. And if you have any query, you can write. I can answer today or later on, I can answer those questions. So research broadly, we can classify into quantitative research and qualitative research. And let me tell you very clearly that today I will be talking only about quantitative research, because in medical we are doing quantitative research. But because we are just starting this topic, whether dear Amit, whether they have been given some introduction about qualitative and quantitative?
Few sessions there are a basic introduction is given.
Mhm.
The study design is started today, from today.
Okay. So in our medical research, we have been doing only quantitative research. And in 91, for the first time, the European countries, they thought of qualitative research in medical field. Otherwise, the Department of Sociology, those students from art side or from sociology department, they are expert in qualitative research, and journalism, they do qualitative research. And we realized it's important very late. Let me give you a brief story that London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, they were working in one country in South Africa, and they wanted to control malaria. They worked over there for 1 year, and they saw that people, after developing fever, they were not taking paracetamol. So high grade fever used to kill them, and they were not taking anti-malarial medicine. They were not aware of these things. So they tried to know that why people are suffering from. They observed it, and then they opened a clinic there in the locality. After I think 7-8 months, they put a British doctor over there, and they informed everyone that if anybody suffers from fever, go and take medicine from the doctor. I'm just going to highlight the importance of qualitative research here, because our whole audience is only working on quantitative, and all statistics people, they usually think of quantitative. So here I think this story may give you some importance of qualitative research. So I'm narrating it. Otherwise, we will concentrate on quantitative only. So what happened? They made a questionnaire, because what happened after opening up a new dispensary, in following 6 months, no one came for taking medicine. Still, people died of malaria, and people suffer from high grade fever, and nobody took paracetamol also. So they made a survey like knowledge, attitude, and practice, like KP knowledge, and why they are not practicing. They made a ready-made questionnaire with full answers. So you can say like a quantitative, like data we collect in computer, and then we analyze, we collect frequency. Suppose if we ask some question, and out of 500, if 500 is sample size, and 490 people or 450 people reply a particular answer, we give them weightage. And something which is answered by 5 people or 20 people, we don't give weightage in our quantitative, because we quantify and we calculate that 85% people said this and 95% people say. That becomes very important in quantitative research. They did the same thing. They collected data. They tried to know what is the factor. They had pre-answered. But after the survey, they couldn't find. Still, people were not going to that hospital. So they got frustrated after 1.5 years. They were back in London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. They had a meeting. There are some social scientists also. They attended the meeting, because they are also very important part of the public health. Then they suggested, can't you do qualitative research so that you can know the insight? Now, for qualitative research, insight is very important term. Insight. You get insight. In quantitative, we do not get insight. We only get frequency and quantify, like 95% people said this or 85% people said this. So in qualitative, the most, you can say, heart or soul of the research is that you should get insight. So they told that there should be something. So they asked, what is this, how to do it? They suggested do a focus group discussion. So this is one technique: in-depth interview, focus group discussion, observation. So there are many study methods for qualitative research. I'm not going to discuss because that is not the topic of the day. So they did focus group discussion, and they found one very interesting thing. I will not go in detail what is focus group discussion and how you get insight. That is a typical thing. So they got inside. There was some Don type of thing. Don. He was very powerful muscle person, and he was Don over there. And he was having his own clinic, and he used to give medicines. And he has said, if anybody will go to that British hospital, I will kill you, I will beat you. And due to fear of that person. And during questionnaire, nobody took his name. That was another issue. They did survey twice, but nobody took his name, and then it was not making any impact. But in focus group discussion, what happens? If you recall, if you are in hostel, in any evening, if you sit 7, 8 people, and if you start gossiping and are saying anything, that then after 15, 20 minutes, after warmth, a time comes when people start disclosing their inner things. I had that problem with that particular girl, or particular boy, or particular teacher. Means then they disclose your inner things. So in focus group discussion, somebody told that, sir, actually we are not taking back, but don't disclose it. They were afraid of. So anyway, what happened? Then what they did, they met that person, that Don, and they asked them to take training of malaria. They gave them full training. They supplied medicine also, and then they could drop down the death due to malaria and the cases. So that was one advantage. So I was also surprised. So I think since 2003, I am also motivated, and I am also conducting qualitative research in many theses. Later on, in many MD thesis and PhD thesis, I have approach for mixed method, means quantitative as well as qualitative. So anyway, that was a brief introduction about qualitative. Now I am coming to quantitative research, where in quantitative, computer helps you. What is study design after all? So it is a specific plan or protocol. You can say study design is a protocol and is a scientific or specific plan for conducting the study, which allows investigator to translate conceptual hypothesis into operational one. Now, when you have some idea in your mind, then you develop a concept, and then concept is, you can say, hypothetical situation which cannot be measured. Like suppose the health of rural people. Suppose you get that idea. The improvement of immunization. Suppose that is a concept. Now, how to measure, how to carry out, how to collect, what different indicators to be carried out. So when you have a conceptual hypothesis, you have an idea, you can say abstract. When the idea is an abstract, you have you do not know any uh, variable, how to measure any formula. So what we do, we convert this conceptual hypothesis into an operational one, and then operationally it is possible for a research worker to carry out in the field. Yeah, so I define in that way that study design is a translation of conceptual hypothesis into an operational hypothesis by an investigator. It constitutes a blueprint for the collection. I think you plan, and synopsis you prepare. I will call it a blueprint, and measurement you write down, and then analysis of data. So you put a detailed protocol, and I will call it operational one. Okay. When you prepare a synopsis, it is an operational, converting your conceptual hypothesis. And this blueprint provides backbone for structure of the study. If you have some structure, if you have some steps to do, then you can carry out a study. So study design is converting your conceptual hypothesis into an operational, preparing a blueprint so that you get a backbone or structure of the study, and it supports your study, and then it holds it together to carry out. It refers to the researcher overall plan. So again, I will say that the study design refers to overall plan for answering the research question. In another words, you can say, or testing the research hypothesis. If you have already established research hypothesis, you can test also. And then for testing, again, you have to plan an operational research design. And the preparation of your study protocol depends on your objectives of the proposed study. So making objective is also very important. My topic is not preparing synopsis. I'm only going to concentrate on research design because there may be long list of lectures, and after completing those lectures, you will be able to prepare your synopsis, you will be able to prepare your objectives, and then research methodology, everything you will be able to prepare. Hence, study design is a framework for research plan of action. I hope you all can agree with my previous discussion that research work or study design is a framework for research plan of action. That is in brief, I can say. A master plan, further, I would like to say, it is a master plan that specifies the methods and procedures for collecting and analyzing the needed information. This is very important. The information which is not really needed should not be collected. Many times people become over enthusiastic and they gather a lot of information. They waste their lot of energy. Rather, you should pinpoint and only gather needed information and gather all accurate, because accuracy is very important. Accuracy, and otherwise at the time of analysis you face problem. It is a strategy. You plan a strategy for how the data will be collected. So 3 words you have to remember. It is a framework, it is a master plan, it is a strategy. So that you can convert your conceptual hypothesis into operational one. Now, some basic terms which is used in study design, it is very important. Like, there is always a population from where you want to carry out the study. So population, I will say, is a complete set of elements, living or non-living. Okay. Everything we call in research methodology as a population that possess some common characteristics defined by the criteria established by the researcher. So you establish criteria and you define that whether you are going to conduct study in rural area, or you are going to conduct in urban area, or in slum area, means so many things, many other characteristics, local characteristics also comes in the population. And then same population you use, or you compare 2 different populations. So this is population. Then population is composed of 2 groups. Number 1, target population, and study population, you can say accessible population. Target population, it is the entire group of people or objects to which the researcher wishes to generalize the study findings. Like you may say the anemia in adolescent girls, anemia in adolescent boys. So here you are making target population that adolescent girls, adolescent boys, or pregnant women, okay, or women of childbearing age group, 15 to 45-year age group. So, or senior citizens, anemia in senior citizens. So that target population. Now, every senior citizen you are not going to include. Every adolescent you are not going to include. Every women in that locality or in any area from 15 to 45 years, you are not going to include. That is another problem. So we say that it is the entire group of people or object to which researcher wishes to generalize the study findings. Is that clear? We call it target population. Now, really, study population will be a smaller group of population from your target population, or you can say accessible population. So it is the portion of the population for which the researcher has reasonable access. Yes, within your time limit, within your budget, within your resources. So you should have reasonable access and can apply their conclusions. It is from the accessible population that researchers draw their sample. So is that clear? I told you about population, then target population, that is target population, which is your target, larger chunk of population. Then you can reach to few people, and sometimes you have to travel a lot, or you have to make a phone call. You can devise any method. You have to reach the people. So target, then study population, that is accessible population. इसको डोर हमारा बंद कर देना. So to which actually my daughter brought a tea for me.
Yes, sir, yes.
Sorry.
Have a tea, sir.
Sorry. So I have discussed about target population and study population. So data can be collected either by number one, complete enumeration. So suppose you have something in your mind and you prepare a study design in such a way and you want data from complete enumeration. Now that is an uphill task. It is very difficult. Collecting information from the whole population will be always very tiring job, and then you will make error because there will be some repetitive information. Sometimes you may cook the data. So it's always advisable to have a good sample size which represents the population. And sample size calculation will be discussed here in this platform. And then you will know that there are different methods of sample size which will represent the population, so that you can generalize your information. If you have found information in the 400 people, and if there are 5,000 people in some locality, then you can generalize that most probably the 5,000 people are also having the similar type of proportion of diseases, proportion of self-medication, or prevalence of anemia, whatever you say, we can generalize. So complete enumeration is one way. If you want to, if you know that in a village of 5,000 population, there are 500 children, 0 to 5 year, roughly, otherwise 6% population will be 0 to 5 year age group. 6 to 9% population will be 0 to 6 year age group. So in 1,000, it will be 900 approximately. So you can calculate children, and then you want to know how many children are not immunized. You can do complete enumeration with the help of local health worker, Anganwadi worker, Asha worker, and then you can meet them and you can collect information from everybody. But the if size is very large, if it is 20,000 or 50,000, then I think again you will do sampling and you will meet in different localities a small samples, maybe 3 or 4 localities. Localities you will randomly select, so your bias is not there. So complete enumeration is done when some people are very few. Otherwise, usually you go for sample survey. Sample survey collecting information from a portion or subgroup of the total population, which will be a separate issue and separate topic and will be discussed separately. However, collecting data from an entire population is not always possible. I have already told you. It involves too much time, money, and manpower. Hence, a small fraction of population or samples drawn from the population are used to draw conclusion about the entire population. This is what I said. I tried to explain. The same thing I have written over here. And these slides will be shared with my students, because I think Amit will share with you. I will share with Dr. Amit, and then he will share with you these my slides. So no need, you just listen it, and then so that you can see my slides twice, thrice, and it will be possible for you to understand. Now, this is an example. What happens usually? Suppose you have selected a target population, all people with AIDS. That is your target population. Then you study population all with AIDS in Mumbai area. Now this could be your study population. Now sample a list of all people with AIDS in Mumbai area who are diagnosed in the year 2015. Now you will only study, or you will only collect data from your sample size, and sample size may be even smaller. So the target population, I will repeat, all the people suffering from AIDS. That is the target population. Study population, all people with AIDS, that too in Mumbai. Now you are targeting. Okay. You are making smaller, some city. And lastly, only those who were diagnosed in 2015. And now, if you want, you can say you diagnosed in 2022. That is how we collect sample. Now, helicopter view. We also called it, I read in some foreign book in 2004, and I found it very interesting. Bird eye view. We often use bird eye view. And Vihangam Drishti, Hindi mein we call it. Vihangam at a one side, whatever, snapshot. So helicopter view means broad classification of different study design is. Number one, we can broadly categorize into three groups. I will discuss another type of classification also, like basic design. So please remember, there are three basic designs which are very frequently carried out, and these are that cohort, case control, and cross-sectional. So cross-sectional, cohort, and case control study. Okay, this is basic, and this is, you can say, observational. I'm going to discuss these three in details. Yes, and then hybrid design. Hybrid design, I will say that when cohort study and case control is mixed, when in cohort case control is mixed, when in case control cohort is mixed. So we call it, this is recently has been decided, because cohort has some limitation, case control has some limitation. So that has been improved, and we call it the hybrid design. I will not discuss hybrid design, will be discussed by another lecturer. Yes. And then there are some incomplete design. Incomplete design, like you may say, you cannot follow whatever is happening in environment. Like at present, you know that the environment is changing. There is an ecological change, and the too hot summer. Now we have not created this experimentally. We cannot create, we cannot see human suffering, but this is happening naturally in our ecology, larger change, and then we can carry out. So we call it incomplete design, because it will not have every parameter, proportional design or ecological design. So we call it some proportion you can study. So this was a helicopter view, or you can say bird eye view. Yes. Now, this is my topic, different type of study design. So observation, non-experimental study design. Number one is exploratory study design. Number second is descriptive. So observational is of mainly three types: exploratory, descriptive, and analytical. So I will concentrate today, after a break of 10 minutes or 15 minutes, on observational study, or you can say non-experimental. Means you are not doing experiment. Experiment like a drug trial or anything, you do particular experiment in. These are observable. The things are happening and you simply follow a group of people and you see what happens after 20 years, what happens after. I will discuss. So exploratory, descriptive, analytical. Analytical is of, number one is cross-sectional study. Then second is cohort study and case control study. So I will cover up to this in my second lecture. Then there are experimental study, which I will not cover. Interventional study. For example, randomized controlled trial, drug trial. Then these are carried out in laboratory or in hospital, controlled trial, and then field trial. You may remember about the COVID vaccine, that some trial was carried out and then later on after 6 months. Otherwise, vaccine preparation takes 5-10 years. But it was a COVID disease. So we all agreed so that after 6 months, whatever protective vaccine is prepared, let us try and let us save some. People were dying. People were dying. There was fear of dying. So we had something. And every country prepared, you know. And perhaps later on it proved that our vaccine was far, far better. And then community trial, experimental study. So these are different types of study design. So I think, can I take a break now? Then I will take up from here. I will go in detail about observational study. Or here I can describe our randomized control trial, because this will be taken separately for making a new drug, like for vaccine. When this vaccine was prepared, they did this randomized control trial in lab with animals, then later on with human beings, means volunteers. And then in field trial, you can say when you try this vaccine in the field at larger scale, and then you agree that yes, it is safe. And community trial is almost same when you do it at a larger community level. So Amit,
Yes.
I think this
Yes,
is my
yes.
next lecture.
Yes. So
And I may take 1 hour plus some minutes, 15-20 minutes more. Okay, so I can use this break for having a tea, and then, so can I join after 10 minutes?
Yes,
Is that
sir.
okay?
No problem. Yes, yes.
Okay.
All delegates, if prepare your queries. After 10 to 15 minutes, we again start with the another session, observational study analysis measure. And if having any query, you can prepare your query. We'll discuss first and then move on to the next topic. Sir, you are muted, sir. Muted at your end. Sir, you are muted.
हाँ, म्यूट कर दिया था. हाँ, कैमरा ऑफ करना है.
हाँ, टॉप में सर, टॉप में आ रहा होगा एक एरो.
अच्छा, स्टॉप है. यस यस, आई कुड सी. यस यस.
नाउ यू कैन ऑफ योर कैमरा सर.
ओके ओके. अच्छा, हमें फिर से शेयर करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है. ओके.
Yes, yes.
After 10 minutes.
Yes, here we are taking 10 to 15 minutes, maximum 15 minutes and minimum 10 minutes break.
Okay.
Then we again start.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.